is here. And who's the little fella in the lap?
Shit, sorry.
Who's your little fellow in the lap there?
This is Chloe.
Hi, Chloe.
She is very injured, very sick right now, but she's hanging out with me.
Okay, well that's good. She just looks like let's just sleep. Be quiet.
Yeah,
that's
she's
funny.
tired.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so today we're going to be watching Rambo First Blood. It's my first time seeing it. I don't know how long this is going to hang around, but Tom Connors from Midnight's Edge is supposed to be coming by, but he had to finish up a video real quick for the Midnight's Edge, so he's getting that done and then coming on over here. I'll probably start the movie in about like 5 or 10 minutes, give people a little chance to come on through.
I'll hang out till you start the movie because I haven't seen it and I don't.
I know. That's fine. Well, I'm gonna wait till like Tom gets here to start talking about it, but I don't know, I might start it at that. I don't know. Doing one by myself is stupid. Like when I did Jaws for the first time, and nobody answered me at the time, and I was just kind of talking. I'm like, so here's the credits, and there's they're in the water now, and I know what to talk about. Like, I don't know. You're supposed to talk about the movie, and when there's nobody to bounce off of, it was like really, really lame. At the moment, we've got Anthony Shaholawi. Oh, $2 super chat. Thank you very much, man. Says the rookie critic, the nostalgia critic, is greater than the nostalgia critic. Oh, I appreciate that big time, man. Especially since I don't know if you know this, but I actually took inspiration from him back when I first started YouTube. The way that they do skits, they put so much production into their skits. I was like just super impressed by that, so I thought I'd do that in the beginning. Yeah, I don't know if you ever saw my older videos, Miss, but I would do like roundtable reviews with 4 of my characters, and the lazy one would be like, and then we went to the part of the movie where they're all chilling, man, and the other one's like, yeah, and there's all these sexy girls coming in and going, so. Oh, the good times.
Yeah, I was aware of your nostalgia critic inspiration that you had.
Oh yeah, I even tried to do a offshoot of his slogan. I'd be like, "Hello, I'm the rookie critic guy. I don't have a slogan yet, but I'll come up with one later." Because like in the same tone of his nostalgia critic, the "Hello, I'm the nostalgia critic guy. Remember it, so you don't have to."
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Good boy. Tom is here. Finally, Tom has arrived. And he's still getting his mic all set up. So that's cute.
Here.
That's cute.
I'm more like I gotta go put the movie in. Hang on.
Okay. Gotta hear you get off the couch and then bend down and find the DVD. No, just kidding. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen the Rambo stuff because I've said this before. If my dad hasn't watched it, I probably haven't watched it. So it's usually how things work.
Your dad hasn't watched Rambo?
My dad isn't a big Sylvester Stallone fan.
I can imagine why.
He's
That's my Stallone impression.
Yeah, he's
very good.
Yeah, everybody's telling me that I need to watch Rocky after I watch Rambo.
That I actually want to watch.
So we'll see. That one does seem to be the more American inspirational story. So
yeah.
Who knows? I've seen every single parody of that ever imagined. So wouldn't it hurt too much to go see some of that right there like that? Won't you say? All right, so everybody that's in the chat.
Say it with like a British accent is all like weird,
That's a very good one right there. Yeah, it's almost barely even talk to get some of that. You know what I'm saying, Miss? No. That's kind of a tough one to do.
Got no idea what you're saying.
That's exactly what everybody says too slow. I don't know. Everybody that watches this on the replay, we're about to start in just a couple minutes, just giving you time to get your own set of Rambo ready so that you can follow along with the commentary and whatnot. I myself just watched this recently for the first time, and Tom is a longtime fan of the Rambo, so got some different perspectives over here, and Miss is like just filling some time because she's an awesome filler.
Thank you. I think that's the second time you've told me that.
Yep, that's a compliment. That's a compliment. Stigley Kenobi's like, hello, rookie, Miss and Tom. Shup, Stigster. All right.
Yeah, I'm just here to be the pretty face until the show starts.
Exactly. You should have your own theme music or something. Now, and we got Miss, and she's coming in to help buy time until it is time to begin. I was gonna say with cards like wrestling, but that doesn't really apply here. You can have the time cards every 20 minutes. You go, okay, we're at this point now. No. Stig says,
There's your theme music.
I meant like sexy music, but
No.
This is sexy. This is sexist.
That's true.
Okay. I got it paused, so I'm ready to start when you say go.
All right. Yeah, I've got it. This time I have it on DVD because I actually bought the movies this time instead of doing my classic rental. And I was resetting it, and so I'm at the part where just the credits first say First Blood.
Okay.
So you can press play now. So everybody get your tapes all ready to the First Blood part with the credits.
Okay. I'm gonna pop out then.
All right. Thanks for coming by, Miss.
Take care, Miss. Have
Bye.
a good day.
You're a fantastic fella.
Stallone in First Blood.
All right.
Released October 22nd, 1982, yo.
Oh, indeed. All right. So I'm basically just going to start it now so we can start talking about it. I don't really have prep plan. Just like you, I've been working on some videos today as well. So I'm like just kind of ready to
well,
go
that
blam.
Spider-Man news kind of took us off guard. But,
oh, yeah. That's something people can watch in your video for sure.
Yeah, that will drop eventually here, probably during the duration of this. But, oh, yeah, okay. So, at this point in his career, Stallone's biggest hit would have been Rocky. This movie came along. I think the studio wanted, I'm sure they originally wanted, Robert Redford and all those people to be in it. But one cast member we know that did change just before the film started was Colonel Trautman, who was originally supposed to be played by Kirk Douglas. And he decided to back out of the film when they decided to change the ending of the movie.
Oh, really?
And in his place, Richard Crenna came in. Even though they did still film the original ending of the story, they went with their alternate version, which famously, I don't know if you've ever heard, is that, well, Rambo dies. So
yeah, I have heard that,
Yeah.
which actually, based on this ending, would have actually made some sense with how it was going, facing off against the 200 fellers and whatnot, and yeah, that kind of makes sense.
But notice he does not kill anybody in this movie.
Yeah, I noticed. There's a few times where I'm like, "Are you sure?" I don't know. Yeah, he doesn't actually kill anybody. Wounds them pretty bad.
The only one that does get killed, it's his own dumb fault.
Yep. Who's the guy who plays that cop? The fat one that falls.
The one that falls, I'm not sure offhand. I'd have to look. But otherwise, you've got what's his face playing the main cop, and then NYPD Blue is in there too.
Oh yeah, those are pretty good. I actually like the fat cop just because his attitude. He's just like, I want to hurt this dude, and he's not letting me. I want to hurt him, and it ain't working.
No, I'm not as prepared as I wanted to be as well because this all dropped to the last minute. But Rambo is something I know quite about. Here we're at the beginning of the movie now. If everybody's still going like I continued to go, I thought you said play, so we're playing, right?
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So he finds out that one of the last members of the last member of his platoon besides himself is now deceased, and he's the only one left. So of course that kind of breaks him a little bit. I'm sure he was kind of just wandering around trying to find his place, kind of like the novel. The novel's fairly similar. The only differences are that Rambo isn't called John Rambo. He's just called Rambo. And each chapter kind of is like one chapter's from Teasel's point of view, one chapter's from Rambo's point of view. It goes back and forth. And it kind of paints this picture of, the broken soldier from the Vietnam War versus the, forgotten soldier from a bygone war that nobody remembers. in a bygone era, because it was like the 50s meets the 60s meets, the standard American, White House, picket fences, 2 kids and a dog,
right,
compared to what the 60s and 70s brought about, a bit of a change in the American lifestyle for the most part, without getting into too much political rhetoric. But yeah. But this movie is chock full of political rhetoric. And it's funny how Rambo became an icon of the Reagan era when he is kind of so anti-establishment, especially in this first movie. Most people really forget about this first movie, or this movie doesn't really come to mind when it comes to the films, because this one's the most different from the other ones. What'd you say?
You're not saying what? Like, how can people forget this one?
Well, I mean, people don't really forget it per se, but when you say Rambo, the first thing that comes to mind is like the version from like part 2 or 3 where he's all buff and the red headband and no shirt and
right. That was the iconic image. I was expecting him to pull on do something with arrows in this one. I was like, is he gonna be lost in the woods and like makeshift his own arrows or something?
You would think it would have been the easier thing for him to do, but no, actually he gets pretty clever and creative. So
now, one of the main things I like about this film, because I was watching this with my buddy and he's a Marine too, actually, so there's some good perspective when I was watching it, and he grew up loving these films, and it's like, I don't know, I appreciate how it feels kind of real. Like, it's like, a lot of modern films these days, you don't really feel it. It feels cinematic. It doesn't feel like you're kind of there, like in a town and with the person. This kind of feels like just kind of up close, kind of, just like they're in the office building. They're just, chilling, and they're right there. And then when they're in the forest, like, they seem so tired, just like walking around, and, it seems like it takes its toll. And I kind of appreciate that type of feel. It's got like that authentic charm to it. It's authenticity. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, this one does have the most verisimilitude outside of the fourth film. No, I did not steal that saying from Robert Meyer Burnett, even though it's one of his favorites. I, too, watched the Superman DVDs and all that, so I've heard Richard Donner say it many a time before I heard Robert say it. But yeah, you got a $2 super chat.
Yep, it's from the properest of the Jeremys. What's going proper? I sent him an invite if he wanted to. He said he really loves this movie. He says this movie was great. I thought 2 and 3 sucked.
I like 2. 3 has its issues, obviously. 2, probably doesn't age as well as this film, for sure. Mainly just because of how cheesy some moments are, but it had a real... It's a real 80s movie, the second one is, for sure. And the same thing for the third one, even more.
It gets kind of cliched. It comes unoriginal. It just kind of follows.
Yeah, Rambo's muscles get bigger, his hair gets longer, his headband gets bigger, the knife gets bigger.
That's actually kind of funny, because that's another thing I kind of liked, is that he's not this humongous buff build, so it doesn't look like he could take everyone down. Like, they even kind of show him being shorter than everybody else standing next to the cops in a little bit, and he's just like, my skill, my experience is what makes me strong here, like, and he pretty much does, and he doesn't need to look like the biggest dude in the room to be intimidating. Just the look in his eyes is like, damn, you don't want to fuck with this guy.
Well, yeah, and I don't think Stallone's that short either, but yeah, but he does look in stature compared to some of the other cops in this film, especially compared to, I mean, I know he's not that tall either, but I mean, he's not like, I think he's
but I mean, showing that he's not like super buff as well.
Right.
Skinny short guy in comparison to everyone else, and could still, his skills and experience make him resilient and strong and stuff, and that he could survive on bugs and stuff.
Yeah, he's definitely not inhuman in this film, that's for sure, like he is in the other films.
Yeah, that's kind of another thing I appreciated about it. Nothing he did seemed like somebody couldn't do it. It seemed like a professional that knows what they're doing could do this.
Well, and Dave Morrell, the guy who wrote the novel, he had got inspiration from, dealing with talking to a lot of Vietnam vets with PTSD. And here we go. I'm on the scene now where Teasel's just turning around, and Rambo's showing his revolting side, or his rebellious side, however you want to put it.
Yeah,
revolting
get out of town.
But you know what I mean. He's revolting against the idea of, why can't I just come in and get something to eat just because I got this, because I'm obviously a Vietnam vet, longer hair, little unkempt. This guy doesn't want me in his town. Why can't he just let me get a sandwich and go on my way? You know. So this movie and the original book to a point, you can see it from Rambo's point of view, especially, but you can also see it from Teasel's point of view to a point. You know, you don't know who this guy is. He could be trouble. You know.
Yeah, it's very true.
Hey, I know that kid.
What's up? What timestamp are you at right now? I didn't know we started.
No, here, I'm on DVD, so I have to pause it first.
I got 9:33, 35,
9:33. Okay, so
he's just getting frisked. Yeah, he just pulled out the knife and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's like, what do we use it for? Hunting. Did he say that yet?
He's getting to that point, yeah.
I'm like
once he says that, then we're good.
Yeah, he just said it here a little bit ago.
All right.
Now they're going into the station on mine.
Yep. Right there with
Close enough, yeah. David Caruso on the right there.
I actually really enjoy, I mean, I like the fact that I just watched this movie just for fun the other day. But I don't know if I want to see the last Rambo movie. Well, Last Blood.
I liked it. Have you seen?
I don't know if I want to see it because it's been a long time since I've seen 2 and 3, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like it so much that I didn't see the movie, the fourth one.
Oh, you're doing yourself a disservice. Yeah, you're doing yourself a disservice there because Rambo makes up for a lot of the problems 2 and 3 had.
Can I just watch Rambo without remembering too much of 2 and 3?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's pretty much a self-contained story for the most part.
And does it connect with the last one?
I mean, enough. I mean, you just basically got to know who Rambo is. That's really kind of like this new one in a way. I mean, if anything, it connects more with this last movie than it does the other movies.
Oh,
so I mean, Rambo. He's in Thailand or whatever in the beginning of the movie, kind of like he is in the beginning of the third one, and it's kind of a similar thing. But the movie itself is much better and much more realistic, not the bombastic, 80s style action. It's much more realistic.
The true Rambo trilogy: First Blood, Rambo, Last Blood. Boom.
I liked Last Blood. Some people didn't, but I thought it was pretty good. I can turn my phone off here. It's buzzing.
He's getting severe PTSD.
I know. I like too how he's just in the building. He's not really putting up too much of a fight, but he's just kind of not letting them do something at the time. He's just making it tough for him. And he's just like, no, I'm not going to make this easy on you guys. What the hell? And I like how all of his so many tools are packed into his little knife alone. Like when he's surviving, he has when he's a match, he has some string. He's got a needle. He's got.
That's your standard issue survival knife at the time. At least the first one, anyway. The second and third one are actually called Rambo knives, I believe.
That's kind of funny.
I'm not kidding. I know for a fact the third one is actually called the Rambo 3.
Yeah, it is called Rambo 3. They forgot about First Blood entirely.
Well, it's just because he has the survival knife in the first one. So, and the second and third movie were made by, whatever the hell you call it, the guy.
Someone else.
Would it be a blacksmith still or whatever? A guy who still makes knives and shit, like designs knives and a knivesman. Is that the word I'm looking? There's a word for it, I'm sure, that I don't know.
Something like that. Steel master or something.
Yeah, it might still be a blacksmith. I don't
know. I like how he's trying to ink his finger and he's just like, nah.
Fuck you.
Nah, don't feel like doing it.
There is nothing that I like about that officer, by the way.
You're not supposed to. That's why he's the one that dies.
I like that he's just this asshole. It's like he just really wants to pick on him, and it's just like, nah, there's no reason to. But
and he keeps taking the paper towels. It's just like
it's like I have some more.
Yeah.
You see, like this is what I mean. Like they're trying to show, hey, we're bigger than you, and then he's like, no, I could kill all you right now if I felt like it.
Yeah, I mean, just like this is, what fascinates me about this is just like the cops are just assholes, but it works in this film because there wouldn't be a movie if they weren't assholes. But sure. they actually, what's interesting is despite all the terrible things that Rambo's about to do to these officers, he doesn't start it. Like, this isn't his fault. As he says later in the movie, they drew first blood, not me. Like, you guys started this. I was just trying to, like, do my own thing, you know, just go on my merry way. But you guys insisted. Oh my God, these scars. They look fresh.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
I had no.
not that far out of Vietnam. He's only a couple of years out. I mean, the war technically ended in, I think, 71 or 72, but we still had troops in there through, I think, 75, maybe even 76. Well, there were still POWs after that, but you know what I mean? We actually pulled completely or whatever.
Yeah, I was watching this with my buddy, and yeah, he was explaining how back then when soldiers came back, citizens did not give them a warm welcome.
And that's kind of where this stems from, yeah. And it's not just because he's a war vet; it's more so that he looks like a hippie, and it was that mentality of the.
Seems like a combo of both. He went and fought in the war, and you look like a hippie.
Well, that was all. The other thing is, most that came back, they had that hippie mentality when they got back too. So it was like I said, either they could probably considered him dangerous, or they considered him, you know, the one way. And then the Manson situation really, really changed things for the hippie movement. Like, you know, before that, it was all about peace, love, and drugs and rock and roll. Well,
not after that.
Not after that, yeah. And it's sad because, I mean, the only thing that really had to do anything with the hippie movement is that's just the kind of people that Charles Manson happened to, you know, attract. He himself personally wasn't a hippie. He actually hated hippies. So it was like, yeah, ironically. But anyway, you know, yeah. So, I mean, you had this stigma at the time, and, you know, that's really where the idea for the character came from, is what would happen if this guy come in. And I'm sure this is a type of thing that happened to a lot of guys. You know, I'm sure that's part of where Dave Morrell got part of the inspiration from, is these guys would go into towns and they'd probably get treated like this. They wouldn't get served at a diner, or they couldn't get a job, or, you know, even a place to stay or anything like that.
See, this is where I understand, you know, where he just completely blows up.
Yeah.
Like, no, don't touch me with that.
Right, where he's kicked him in the balls, gender check.
Like, why couldn't he just, why did they have to use that? Why couldn't they use just a regular razor that everyone else uses? Did everyone use a knife?
It's a backwater, you know, town, so they can't afford it.
That guy he was about to gouge that guy's eyes out.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I did not think this is where the movie was going to go. Like, I assumed it was going to be some type of, you know, kind of like Thundercats said in the chat. Like, I thought it was going to be him trying to defend some people or something. And no, it's just he's walking through town. Cops are being douches. He's like, nah, I don't care. And
this is why I like this movie so much as opposed to the other two. I again, yeah, it's been a long. Oh wait, he just threw the guy out the window.
Yeah, but I don't think it's like a second story or nothing. It's like on the first. It's only one floor.
Yeah, they're only on the first floor.
Okay.
Trust me, if he had killed a cop, they'd have shot him by now.
Yeah.
He's probably lucky that they didn't try shooting him by now. I mean, Cecil did have his gun. But.
See, even him doing all these moves to the cops doesn't seem too
okay. Yeah, even if it is, actually, I do think it is technically the second floor. I think he's fine. He has a bad back the rest of his life. Poor guy.
He'll be fine. But it's like all the stunts he just did seem like they could be done. Like Astaware and a lot of other movies, where I assume the later Rambo movies, I don't even know. Like where it's like, okay, a little far-fetched.
Well, I mean, yeah, you had all live action stunts in all these movies, but I'm sure by the time you get to the second and third one, they're ones that had to be set up and you had wiring and all, all the fancy stuff.
Like you punch him in the face. Like, I mean, you punch him in the face and they go flying 10 feet.
Yeah, but all the stunts in this movie are 100%. Like, I'm pretty sure there's like no wires for anything. Or, there might be something for the one motorcycle scene, but
which is partly why, again, like I like this. It just feels like a real set, real stuff. It doesn't seem like there's too much post editing other than, of course, sound effects and music.
Well, as you can tell, that's not Sly in the two shots there that he's riding the motorcycle. But it's funny you mention that, because this movie actually was one of those movies that was famously saved in the edit, kind of like Star Wars.
How was this one?
The original version was actually about 3 hours long.
Oh, jeez.
And boring as hell. And it was so bad that...
Have you seen it?
No, I wish. Sylvester Stallone, and I think he even said this himself, so this is pretty much a confirmed story. He, after the film, was so demoralized by it, he wanted to buy back the prints, buy the movie, and destroy it. so nobody could ever see it. He thought it was that bad. He thought it would ruin his career
if they released that 3-hour cut.
That's what he felt like at the time. So like, okay, so then they went back and they re-edited the entire thing from beginning to end. And I don't think they necessarily had to reshoot it. Maybe like a few inserts here and there, perhaps for certain things, but I doubt it. But they cut it and whittled it down to this 90-minute, quick paced, cut it right down to the bare minimum. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of what got cut out was Teasel's probably stuff. Because, like I said, the novel, Teasel has a much bigger part.
They probably had the Marine in there too, the commander or whatever.
No, they didn't add the Marine. I don't know if the Marine was in the book. I've never. read it,
Actually, and as I brought up at first, Kirk Douglas was supposed to play that part, but he didn't want to do the movie once they changed the ending. And that character's in there, and that's pretty much the way it is. But from what I recall, because it's been a good 20 years since I read the book,
Douglas almost was in this movie.
Yeah,
he oh my God! He could have been back for this one. Holy shit!
Or not Kirk. You're thinking of Michael Douglas. Oh yeah, he's still alive, isn't he, Kirk Douglas?
Kirk Douglas. Yeah, he's 102 years old.
He is, isn't he? Jesus Christ!
Isn't that amazing?
I forgot
he's still with us. That's
I know. I was like, you're thinking of Michael. I'm like, no, wait, his dad is still alive, isn't he? Shit.
Yeah, I know. He could have had him. You could have had him come back.
But yeah, took over the Trautman role when he wouldn't do it. But
I think the guy that they got was amazing.
Oh yeah.
He's perfect for it. Well, not perfect, but pretty damn good.
That motorcycle stunt looked like it might have actually been Sly.
No, I think it was.
That don't look like Sly there, so I don't know.
A lot of running, yeah.
Because
I think that's easy to do.
Wig or something, because their hair isn't the same.
Is that how you can tell, or what is it that you can tell the most when you can tell it's a stunt?
First dead giveaway is the hair, and if that doesn't give it away, it's like the body. And if they can find a good stunt man for a lot of people, usually, I mean, that's where, like, if you've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and stuff like that, that's not abnormal for a guy like an actor to stick with the same stunt man through all his career for the most part.
Okay, that makes
a good one.
I think that makes sense.
They use the same people for the Expendables. Like, do they just their entire careers, or
not entire careers?
But a lot of
enough to get to that point,
like the prime years.
Yeah. Well, like, okay, for instance, you're right, because like loosely based on the relationship between Hal Needham and Burt Reynolds, Once Upon a Time is, and that's what happened. Is after a while, it got to a point where Hal just couldn't do all the stunts anymore, so he became a writer and director. And then he went on to make like the Smokey and Bandit movies and Cannonball Run movies.
Good choice.
Yeah. So.
Well, you said Burt Reynolds was the stunt double, or?
No, his stunt double was Hal Needham for years and years, and then
he wrote that guy.
When he got too old to actually be a stunt man anymore, that's when he decided to write and direct. Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating. I never knew that.
Yeah.
People watching were at the part where after the cop's car already tipped over and Rambo's kind of going in to make his own poncho, cops are coming for reinforcements.
Teasel's like, we lost him. Shit.
Also, there's something I probably didn't quite understand with the second film. I didn't know if it was supposed to be a prequel or a sequel.
It's a sequel. That's why he's in jail in the beginning. It's because
that's probably what made me really confused about it when I first watched it. But I was also like a kid, and I wasn't really looking too far deep into it.
Yeah, I can't remember if it says, but I think he's been in prison for like a year or something like that, or a couple of years.
Just a year for that? Wow.
Well, no, I mean, that's how long he's been there at the time that Trautman gets him out. But I'm sure he got a pretty long sentence.
Meeting him at the pearly gates, essentially. I was like, what's going on? But no, I like this film in comparison to the other two because it's different. It's not just the Sly is just going to go up and blow stuff up and kill people.
It just seems like it's escalating as everything keeps on going on, and it just seems so. It's not too super cut. It just seems like a good flowing type of film. It's not and we got to do this, motherfucker. Like it's just it's more normal dialogue, kind of like what this kind of crazy guy might say in these situations. It's not just like, what else is bad? ice or something because I'm cold. I don't know. I have no idea. I can't think of one off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, it doesn't have it's not your typical action film, and that's one of the reasons it works. You know.
Well, because then it sounds like it's in the later ones go into the sequel tropes of trying to kind of copy it, but then also trying to make it like more badass and extreme. And
well, once they got past this one, they never really tried to recapture this one per se. I'd say the newest one comes close, even though some people disagree. As far as like I say, the newer one, it still has kind of a mixture of both, but it's a little bit smaller scale than the last 3 films were compared to this one too. You know, because like the second and third one are just big ass action movies. You know. Fourth one's a little bit smaller scale.
I think I saw some of the fourth one.
Fourth one's really good.
There's like people getting blown up by mines or something.
Yeah, well, it depends on what part you're talking about, but I mean, I think a lot of people didn't expect the fourth movie to be as good as it is. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But it's like when I was watching it with my buddy, he was like, he's kind of surprised I liked it. And I would like watch the movie with him and forever, and he's Marine, and he's like, "Oh, you like this?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude. Like, why the hell not?" And it's like it's hard to explain what's good. Like when I was up to this point, or he's running away from them, but I'm like, I kind of want to see what's gonna happen, you know?
Well, it's very well paced, and that's where the edit came in, and you know, you follow this character, and to this point, Rambo hasn't really had but 2 lines, I think, the whole movie, you know, so far, and. You know, there's not a lot of talking, and that's another reason why it was such a big hit overseas too. You know, it translated well.
Yeah. Well, it's like this scene. He's trying to climb down the cliff face, and
where are you gonna go? And this starts it all right here when he ends up with the helicopter. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You see, now I was going to try to watch the other Rambo movies before this watch party so that I can have, you know, the rest context in there. But I just have way too much stuff going on now that I'm back in school and working and everything all together. So it's a little crammed on time, but I'm going to try to get, you know, so I can see the second one next week. Yeah, I don't know if we can do, if you'll be free for another watch party of Rambo next week, but I'm going to try to see Last Blood if I can too next week. Yeah, so it could just be like a Rambo talking party instead of just a watch party, you know. Because I don't think I want to do one of every single. I don't know if I want to do one of every Rambo movie.
You could have a review session for 2, 3, and 4 if you want.
Yeah, I might do something like that because I don't want to spread this out for another month doing Rambo. I kind of want to move on to some other stuff, but I still want to see these and talk about them, but not in the watch party format.
Yeah,
Bird says the first Rambo is all about veterans dealing with PTSD, rejection, and difficulty adjusting to civilian life. Yeah, I kind of like that perspective of it.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, you probably could just spend a good hour talking about the second, third, and fourth movie without doing a watch party.
Okay, this part right here, this is what you were talking about. I think it was you, Jeff, when you said he did it to himself.
Yeah, well, Tom was bringing that up, how Rambo doesn't kill anybody, and then just this one dude kind of does it to himself right here.
Technically, he doesn't kill anybody.
He causes a death.
Hold on.
Well, technically, yeah, because he wouldn't be up here if it wasn't for that fact. But the pilot did tell him, "Get your ass back in here."
Yeah, like stop doing this.
Yeah, the pilot's like, "We can't really be right here and be steady with this angle," and he's like, "I'm gonna get you."
Rambo's weighing his options here.
Either get shot or like
jump.
Well, it's funny too. My buddy said he's aiming down that scope completely wrong of his rifle.
Well, he probably had to do it whatever the director said just because it looked right. But
yeah.
Also, Rambo is suffering so many injuries here.
In real life, Stallone broke his ribs on that part.
Oh, really? On that part?
And ruptured his spleen.
Yeah, but it's like you see, like he dived off the thing and like he fell through these branches and he looks like he is in.
Yeah, one of those hits is an actual hit where he broke.
Was it on a set or?
No, it was. This is most, as far as I know, most of this movie was shot on location, I believe, in Canada.
Yeah, that looks like a Canadian forest.
How did he? Well, Well, how did they do that then?
Oh,
If
it's
that wasn't
probably
on a
tree
set.
branches that were like, not so far up. And then he was probably on 2 or 3 branches up above, hopped down and just kind of missed his arm instead and hit his ribs. And below his ribs probably is what I'm guessing. Since
Oh, right below and just
I'm thinking, because if to rupture your spleen, you'd almost have to and shit. But like the way he hit, probably with as much weight and yeah.
Well, and see, I got a comment right here. Like the way that they're cutting back and forth between him and the copter feel more. It just feels better than how, like in modern day, it'd be shaky cam and it'd be like a lot more cuts and different angles and up close and far away and all that. And I'm at where he's just about to go skaplat.
Oh, yep. He just fell down.
Well, this movie is like as far as I know, they shot it very much like guerrilla, filming.
They made you feel like you're kind of there, and it's
and it played into the movie.
I love how his body is smoking for some reason.
Well, I think
the heat rising, yeah.
Well, and he's breathing, and it seems cold too. So it's like I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure it's pretty cold.
Oh yeah.
Again, it's like it feels authentic is kind of the point, and there's so many films these days that almost want to be authentic, but they paint it to be authentic, but it doesn't feel authentic.
I think the movie's supposed to take place. I think the movie's supposed to take place in Wyoming. Now, if you remember in the beginning of the movie when he's walking over the bridge and you see the mountains behind them, I believe that's where they're supposed to be now, is in those mountains behind them.
Yeah.
You know what? I wouldn't mind visiting this gorge. It looks beautiful.
Looks like a cool hangout spot.
Yeah, hang out where Rambo killed a guy.
Yeah,
still sees the blood from the makeup.
Want to get a picture where that cop? Want to get a picture where that cop died?
Yeah, just pretend like you're laying there. Oh.
Yeah, it's like he pulls out his knife. It's like one of the many times he pulls out his knife. I'm like, what? I didn't know
every time Rambo pulls out the knife.
I didn't actually know there was a little like survival knives that have stuff to survive in your knife. I didn't.
Yeah, they're real. Yep.
Yeah, they're real. And the makeup was very well done here. Like you see, like it keeps like going like a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. My buddy pointed out there's a little bit of blood that spews out after he tugs, and he's like, "That's a super good effect that they did for it."
That was brilliant.
Tube up underneath.
It's not spewing out, and it's like as he's touching it a little more, it's still kind of coming out, and that's a pretty realistic gory effect. It's not too over the top.
You know what's funny is that scene was one of the direct reasons why they have the eyeball scene in Terminator.
Really?
Yeah, because Schwarzenegger said that Sly was there and he had to stitch himself up, so I have to fix my eye and dig it out.
That's fine.
They had to keep outdoing each other. They how guys are like in high school when one does something and then the other one's got to outdo the other.
Yep.
Like that's the way all these action star guys were in the 80s. Like they were all that stereotypical, like, oh, they did this in the last movie. Well, I got to do something to outdo that. And this next
he lost his hand. I got to lose my arm.
Yeah, exactly. Or he took out a helicopter. Well, shit, I got to take out a plane.
Yeah, you take out a planet, I got to take out the sun. You take out a sun, I got to take out the solar system. You take over
pretty much. That's how these guys work.
I got to take out the galaxy. You take over that, I got to take over the universe. Take over that, I got to take over the multiverse. It just goes on and on forever.
It's this competition between Sly and Arnold that just kept going on forever, and now I don't know. Now Arnold doesn't make very many movies nowadays, except Terminator movies, and now
he's enjoying being fat and a governor or an ex-governor.
He's not a governor anymore.
I know. I said ex.
Actually, a lot of smaller.
We miss those days, us Californians. Some of us miss those days. Things were cheaper then.
I like how the rangers here or these cops, rangers, forest citizens. I don't know. They seem like
these are just city cops.
Town folk that are like, hey, you got cop duty this week. Okay.
They might be county. Let me look. I can't. I'd have
to I think so. The discount Ron Howard guy is the guy that
David Caruso from he went on to
Ron Howard. That's what I'm gonna call him.
He's David Caruso, man, from CSI and
yeah, I don't watch those crime movies.
Yeah, but you know who he is, right?
No, I have no idea. Yeah. I have no idea who he is aside from this movie.
You've never seen CSI Miami or whichever one it is?
No, because that's what my mom watched, and I didn't like what my mom watched.
Yeah, but you're still aware of it, right? Like he's the guy that whenever he puts on his glasses, it goes, "Hey, yeah!"
Not a clue.
Well,
Not a clue.
hold on. I have a $2 super chat from the Rhodes Rants. Says, "Hey bros, boom, rook." Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Good time. I wanted to do a Texan accent, but I don't feel like it right now.
Can you actually do a Texan accent? It would just. I imagine it sound like you, except Texas.
Hold on, I gotta say something like banjo, howdy. No.
That's not how we talk like.
You know, down in the country, we folk done drink our beers and go on our trucks. That's how we do.
We ride our trucks. We ride our trucks.
Breathe, Larson. Yeah, there we go. Us tomatoes
That was just
go
wrong.
down to the cinema now.
That was just wrong.
We Rangers is gonna go kill us some Rambo.
Oh my gosh.
Stick.
Oh, this is what I remember seeing this on TV the first time with my dad, and he was just like, I just remember him. It was like late at night. He was like drinking Bush as he always does, and he was just like, "Oh, this part's awesome."
Yeah, I like how quickly Rambo's able to set up all these traps.
Oh wait, he does kill something.
He does kill the dog. Yes,
my buddy is like, "This is the only worst part of the movie. The only bad part of the movie is the poor doggies."
But you almost got to figure he kind of had to. I mean, it was.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just. It's not going to be those cliches where the dogs just go, "Oh, I'm your friend now."
Yeah.
Or something, or just back away. No, these dogs are going to attack you. You got to take them out.
It's food for when he's.
No, he ends up killing a pig later.
He's got to eat.
Oh yeah, he doesn't eat the dogs. That's interesting.
He's not an animal.
Oh.
Rhodes is like, that was so Arkansas. When I said the banjo.
Arkansas.
Yeah, Texas is more about guns and big hats.
Guns and beer. That's right, my friend. Gonna get some Pabst Blue Ribbon and have us a wee good time. I just hear proper flashbacks to
in big trucks.
Yeah.
Give me flashbacks too. I never lived in Texas.
The squeal. Never mind.
Oh, squealing of the dog?
No, don't think. Stop thinking about it. It's not important. No. But I like this too. Like, do you think this was the time of day that with the lighting, or any artificial light here? Because it seems like
I'm sure this was all shot with natural lighting.
Not quite.
Well, as dark as this is, yeah, it could have been darkened. They must have had good overcast though, because you can tell when there's sunlight. There's no sunlight.
Yeah, it was. I think this might have been like evening. Like it's the sun starting to go down.
Well, you can see, yeah, it's still light enough out. But with film compared to digital, you have to have a lot of lighting comparison. So, and doing day for night, I can tell when they used to do day for night. So.
Oh
yeah, or night for day. These idiots.
There's a lot of funny ones.
Oh yeah, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake is the first example I think of. They're supposed to be in a dark house. I'm like, it's light outside. It's daytime.
Or like when they
clearly daytime.
When they have the dark filter, but the shirt is really bright, and it's like you shot this in the daytime. Like, duh.
That's why I talked about night for day. Yeah.
Night for day is really bad if it's outdoors.
Or day for night. How you got me twisted around, Jeremy?
Huh?
This lightning looks fake as fuck, though. That I will say.
Of course, it's fake.
Well, you can tell the light source is coming from behind them, not above.
Yeah. Well, then. Yeah.
It's like in this part right here, he's got his little Home Alone traps all set up, or you call it Predator traps.
I love this part.
Yeah, I thought some of them would have been lethal, but no, he doesn't do anything that would kill you, really. I mean, maybe if you bleed out, but,
No, I mean, there's a couple of... I just love... The
one dude gets stabbed in the butt.
I don't think that happens.
I think the ginger does. Yeah, I think he gets stabbed in the butt. Rhodes like, babes, beer, and guns at the same time. Yeah, babes, here.
It's like...
I always stereotype country music to always say something about a guitar, a truck, a beer, a girl, the sun, their dog. Same stuff each time.
Oh.
Actually.
Well, I was drunk.
Oh, you can see him. You can see him right there.
Mom
Now that
got
you know
out of
it's coming.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
he does
still
kind
all
of
hidden,
stab him.
though.
Well, it's kind of in the leg. It's more in the leg.
Still very hidden, though. I mean, if you're just browsing around, you won't notice that right away. Yeah, I guess it isn't leg, but looked like stabbed in the butt.
Keith Howard says I sound like Arnold. You're not the first to say that, Keith.
Everyone's like, Will.
That's because I actually have Arnold Schwarzenegger kidnapped in my house here.
No.
Won't let me out. Somebody please call the authorities.
Shut up, Arnold.
You want
Wrong
supper?
movie.
You want supper?
On a cheeseburger?
The other way, shut the fuck up.
Kidnapped the governor of California.
What? He's
He's not
good.
the governor anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, because Tom kidnapped him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not giving him back quite yet.
Oh, shit. Boom.
This is a good, quick takeout of everybody here.
Yeah, this is probably the worst thing that he did.
That was great when he just
had no...
and he just ducks.
So he had no way of knowing they wouldn't have possibly killed that guy. So that one's probably like one of the most.
Yeah, he almost got his.
Oh,
yeah.
See this one too. What if he was just like bent, crouched down?
Oh, that's his upper. That's above the knee. That's if he's not treated quickly, then he bleeds.
I was gonna say he could bleed out or something.
Yeah, him and David Caruso probably got it pretty bad too. Yeah, as far as like if they don't get attention real soon, they're not gonna live.
Oh, Ron Howard, he got stabbed in the butt. He's just like, I got stabbed in the butt.
Oh, he got him in the bottom, behind the thigh, so he might have got an artery.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's what I was saying.
This guy's the worse off though. Yeah.
But it's like the time to set that up though. Like how long do you think that took?
You know what would have sucked? What would have sucked is if they like got him out and then like they let go and it stabbed him right back.
Oh
no! Will.
I love this part though. It's where Rambo goes, "I could have killed him. I could have killed him."
I know.
He got his guy up against there.
I don't even know how he got him that quickly.
Because he's Rambo.
Yeah, but it's like that's cutting his neck. Ouch.
Oh, this.
There's a similar. See, this scene here is they have a very the last third of Rambo, the new movie, is very reminiscent of this scene, to the point where he even has a part where he tells the one guy, "I could have killed you 3 times already, but I wanted to kill you last."
Well, okay, don't spoil too much more.
I won't.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that you really can't spoil too much. There's like maybe 1 or 2 things you could consider a spoiler, and that's it.
I loved how there was a mark, like how putting that knife up against his neck.
Still cut him, kind of.
It didn't cut him to where it was bleeding, but to a point where it would leave a red mark.
I love that he's crying and like he probably pissed himself.
He probably did, which is probably the most embarrassing thing part of the movie.
Well, it's like it's such an ordeal with just these couple cops screwing around with the dude. He kind of looks like a hippie. He's a vet, and then just escalates to this where they have to have 200 men try to go and try to get him. And it's like, hey, they could all get killed.
Well, we might have went past it already, but if it hasn't yet, it's one of the best parts of the movie. And Brian Dennehy, who plays Teasel, is just amazing in this movie. He's the sheriff, or whatever, And the part where he's like talking to the guys and they're trying to kind of gather themselves or whatever. And he's like, "Did you guys rough him up or what?" And they're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "God damn it."
Yeah, that's kind of funny that you mentioned that's who that is, because I only heard him in the South Park movie.
I'm Brian Dennehy.
Like, Brian Boitano, dude. Brian Boitano.
Not Brian Dennehy.
No. Yeah, it's like I'm Brian Dennehy.
Person?
Not freaking. No, it's not the same person. That's the point. In South Park, he's like he approaches them going, "I'm Brian Dennehy," and they're
Brian
like,
Boitano.
They're like, not Brian Dennehy.
Oh. That's the same movie that Conan O'Brien jumped out of a window.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
it wasn't voiced by Conan, and I was really
No.
upset by that.
I think that was James Woods.
They did that often. They take
Would
different celebrities.
voice Conan?
I believe so, yes. And then
That just feels wrong. You could have asked Conan, and he would have said yes.
probably, but they had this thing on South Park, especially in the first few seasons, where like right after it got famous, like they had tons of celebrities like saying, "Hey, I'm a fan. Can I be on the show? Can I be on the show?" You know, it got to be like The Simpsons, where The Simpsons were always having celebrities or whatever. And they're like, "Yeah, but we don't want people just come in and be celebrities. It's no fun." So like one of the first celebrities they had on was like George Clooney, and he did the voice of a dog. So all he did was go like, "Burf, burf, burf, burf."
Oh, and he was the doctor.
Well, yeah, they had
In
him
the
come
movie.
back for the movie just to be ironic to have him play the doctor because that was
ER.
you know, the whole ER thing. But yeah, it was just funny because they had that and they had a couple other people in and do similar stuff. But then eventually they finally did have some actual stars coming in and do guest voices. But
Yeah,
they
well,
got too much pressure.
when I heard too that they were going to do a completely different cut of the movie, but they had to keep on restricting things, which is funny because that's kind of the theme of the movie.
Yeah, and here enters Trautman actually, but Richard Crenna, but yeah, I'd love to see the other cut of the movie. There's supposedly like a whole nother version of the movie.
There was,
and the funny thing is they would go back and change stuff, but then they would insert shit that was 10 times more offensive than the last time, and they would miss that stuff every time. So the movie they wound up with was much different than they initially planned, at least in the joke factor. I'm sure the story didn't change much, but I mean, as far as I'm sure like the clitoris thing was probably a later addition. You know what I'm saying? Like that feels like something they would have totally gone out of their way to do just to try get it cut out. You know what I mean? And it's like, they're not going to have us cut that out. Well, fuck. You know? But they made us cut up this other stupid thing. You know, it's like, so they found themselves like in horror movies will do that too, to a point. Sometimes they'll put stuff in there, assuming that's what the censors will go after. Well, they're not really censors. The MPA can't censor, but they'll give you suggestions. And usually like they'll key in on certain aspects of a movie. So they'll throw in a scene that they know is just horrendously bad, won't make the final cut. And that'll be the one that the MPA will, you know, zero in on, or they'll use it as a negotiation tactic. Like, okay, we'll cut this down as long as you let us keep this other thing. You know what I mean?
right.
And sometimes that shit'll get through. So it's weird how if you ever want to wonder how the MPAA works, see a movie. I believe it's called This Film Is Not Yet Rated. It's a great documentary. It used to be on Netflix, but I think it's on YouTube now. But yeah, it's a really, really good documentary about that. It's about the whole system and how secretive the MPAA is and how they work and how it's a mess.
And we see
Yeah,
we just got to the part where he killed that hog.
Because let's face it, looking at this movie, yeah, we're at the hog theme now, but just to finish what I was going to say, and then I'll shut up so you can talk, the rookie. But
You're good.
now look at this movie. This movie would now probably get a PG-13. No problem.
Oh, yeah.
well, there was only like 3 different ratings.
At this time there wasn't a PG-13, but I really don't feel like the first Rambo would probably get an R now.
Yeah,
I don't think so either.
He doesn't kill anybody. There's a few blood scenes, maybe a few curse words, but
I don't think there's that. I'm not even sure. Is there an F word in the entire movie?
I said a few curse words. I don't know about
Yeah, but you can get it. See, even back in the early days of PG-13, you can get away with a few tits and a couple F words. As long as you're not talking about the act of effing, you can say it.
Like you say, what the fuck?
You can say like F you or whatever, but you can't.
Like what Rambo said in one of the movies where he's just like, fuck them, and just like...
Well, yeah, once you get to
awesome.
the second and the third one, there's no way those would be rated PG-13. And they
but
had
even
PG-13.
that moment, you can have like one like really good one.
Those are really bloody and gory and over the top.
No, but I'm talking about an F-bomb.
Yeah, you could get away with a couple. As I said, as long as you're not talking about the act of sex, you can usually get away with 2 or 3 at the most. 2 or 3 back in the day. Now, if you're lucky, you can get away with 1, maybe 2.
Speaking of getting away with stuff, I got $2 super chat from Snowdub Music and Entertainment.
What? Great transition.
Snowdub.
It says Rambo 2 is amazing. The closest Rambo ever got to a girlfriend. I don't know yet. We'll see.
Killing everything I love.
Snowdub, I like the only thing that I like about Rambo 2 in retrospect is maybe I'd have to rewatch it, but I remember John Kreese being in it, Martin Cove. So I'm going to have to watch it just for him.
It's a good movie. It really starts to bear out those 80isms.
Yeah, like the 80s, like, oh, we're going to blow things up and have just a bunch of awesome stuff but have no substance to it.
It's got a little substance to it. But
no, but it's like those cheesy 80s that, like, what's the cheesiest 80s like blockbuster that you could think of? Just like, all right, we're going to have like this and like in a world where this shit happens, like
probably everything Sly Stallone did and Schwarzenegger did probably between like the late 90s into the early 2000s. All that stuff was just so over the top.
And Bruce Willis, Die Hard.
Yeah, Bruce Willis as well. After a while, it got real bad.
Yeah.
Was it because of the cheesiness or because there was no story to it? Like,
well, it got to a point where it was either you had those 2 or 3 different movies, and you know how these movies were being pitched. It would be a guy come and go, picture Die Hard on a train, or picture Rambo on a boat, or picture, and you know what I mean? That's how these movies started getting pitched, to the point where somebody's like, picture Die Hard in a building with The Rock. Well, Die Hard already is in the building, but this is with The Rock. So, and then that's how Skyscraper got made. I mean, action movies have really gotten stale.
Yeah, I blame, probably Die Hard, and The Fast and the Furious doesn't help.
Oh yeah, those kind of movies are a direct child of the 80s action.
Yeah, but it's just like, picture The Fast and Furious, but like Skyscraper, where you ran one car into the next building. Isn't that great?
Well, all Fast and the Furious is like, it's like
the only reason the one movie made $1 billion is because Paul Walker died.
And really, a lot of those,
and that's the only that's the last one that was really plot driven.
You're not totally wrong. I think the movie before that, though, and I have not seen anything past bits and parts of the first movie, to be honest with you.
Was the first movie any good?
It wasn't my thing, but I know by the time it got to like the fourth movie, it was nothing like the original. So, but at that point, that kind of turned the franchise around, though, I guess, and that's where it became a big franchise. Because you're right. By the time the third movie came out, I think that movie was damn near straight to video. Like I barely made it. Yeah, I think that barely made it into theaters.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. But this back to Rambo though.
Yeah, and I think more so the thing with Last Blood. To just kind of finish my thoughts on that, and I'll shut up about that some more so I don't spoil on anybody. Is if it came out a couple of years ago, I probably wouldn't like it as much. But right now, it's a very timely movie, and we needed a movie like that right now where a guy can just be a guy.
Yeah, true.
And I think Stallone really just resembles that guy. I'll be honest, I don't like I'm not the biggest Sly fan, but when he does something like this, when he's so believable, like Rocky to me was, you're gonna hate me for this, I rewatched it, I was bored. But with this, it's just I'm really connecting with Sly. I think this is some of his best acting.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I'm not going to agree. I mean, I can see why you would think Rocky is slow, but it's a different time.
It's not my thing. Sports dramas are not my thing.
I can see that and understand that. This movie though really kind of started that action editing though, to where you had that MTV editing to a point where you guys talked about it earlier, where that's where a lot of these movies are now, where you'd get 30 cuts and shaky cam and everything like that. This movie kind of started
the audience is all ADHD now.
And it was more out of necessity to cut it down than it was what they were trying, to try and make it more exciting. Kind of like how Star Wars was cut. I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, there's this great video out there. I can't remember who does it. I'm sure somebody might in the chat remember. But it's called Star Wars Saved in the Edit.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks about how the movie was saved completely with editing, because otherwise the movie would have been trash. And it's very, very much like the story of this movie and how it came together. So it's interesting how much editing can really change a movie overall.
Yeah, very true.
It was by Rocket Jump, I think. It has 2.3 million views. I imagine that's the one people are talking about.
I think you're right. Yes, it's a great.
Oh my god, this A New Hope poster is really weird.
There was some weird ones back in the day, especially from like.
No, this is a new one, I think. Like purple and shit.
Oh, for the new Blu-rays. Oh god, they're not new Blu-rays. The Blu-rays are the same as they always been, but they're the new release.
I know a guy who buys these new DVDs because of the cover.
That's really all it is a new cover.
Yeah, and he's just like, I like the new cover. Like, he has like 8 copies of all the Harry Potter movies. So I was like, what? Why? For the new bonus features? Like, no, I like the cover. I'm like, I can't. I just can't.
I like how he hesitates here to kill the boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well,
that's the thing I remember. The biggest difference from the book and the movie is. And Sly is responsible for this, obviously, and that is changing Rambo from this psychotic, like, monster robotic killer machine, kind of thing, to an anti-hero, and that was really Sly, of course, because otherwise this movie would have just been like a slasher movie.
See, what I would guess that First Blood Part 2 would be more about him adjusting to become a citizen, but I'm pretty sure it's not what it is.
Yo, I'm gonna like.
What the fuck? This guy, he like is about to kill this boy, and he throws his gun in the other direction, and he runs in the opposite direction where he threw the gun.
Yeah, he didn't. Well, it was a hunting rifle. What good would that be here?
I think it was the kid's gun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the kid's gun.
Well, he threw the gun away,
threw it in the opposite direction,
so he wouldn't shoot him.
But he ran in the opposite direction for where he took the gun. I don't know. Was that for him not to shoot him, or like could he have just taken the gun
and shoot him?
Oh,
he didn't want to kill the kid.
Well, yeah. I don't know. You would have thought that he would have taken the gun too.
Well, no, because that gun would not help him in the situation. It's a small.
Oh, you got an M16.
This gun right here.
Okay.
But Jeremy has a point, proper, whatever you want to call him, proper Jeremy.
Yeah, you can call me proper. That's fine.
Yeah, proper has a point though. He's looking. He's almost out of bullets, so he probably should have kept that gun.
Maybe, but I mean, again, with how many people after him, what good would it really have done anyway? And if he actually killed somebody, in this type of thing, maybe even if he was gonna wound them, they could be stupid enough to get themselves killed. So.
Well, that's where this joke comes in.
These guys don't look like a bright bunch. They look like, hey, we just got off work at Wendy's, and now we have to go and try to get this guy. So
that's because they're the weekend warriors. They're the National Guard or whatever, the local National Guard.
Yeah, the guy right here is like, I'm not going out there. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm good.
I love how everyone is just staying down.
Like fuck that.
The guy's eating a fucking candy bar or something. We do this part-time.
One of these guys has a freaking rocket launcher. It's like,
he has. I love how he has his wedding ring on the wrong hand. Fuck. They totally make fun of the National Guard for this.
See, so if people were to say, "Hey, don't worry, the National Guard's here," I'd be like, "Is that a good thing?"
Is that a good thing? I always thought the National Guard, when I was a kid, were just a bunch of lifeguards who
they're the land lifeguards.
Yeah, and they weren't dressed like this. They weren't dressed like this. They were just all dressed in the lifeguard.
Okay. I mean, I don't want to take away from what a lot of them do. Some of them are, I mean, you got to go once a month or whatever. It's like I don't know.
Well, it's like volunteer firemen.
It kind of is. You get paid for it, though. But it's like the National Guard get called in for either stupid shit like this or not unless you have to.
It's like the first time he's ever shot that thing. He's like, holy crap, that was awesome. Let's take a picture.
Rambo isn't dead in this scene.
No, but they think he's dead because they blew up the whole entrance and didn't see him. So they assumed he was dead.
I always thought this was the most intense and claustrophobic part of the movie. Was him going through the mine cave.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't sure if they're actually going to show him picking off all the 200 guys. I'm kind of glad they didn't.
Why would he pick off all the 200 guys?
Well, because of
and now it's snowing.
because it being the first time that I watched.
Well, they're getting higher and higher up the mountain
Right.
too. They're getting higher up the mountain too. That's why it's starting to snow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And now it's not snowy anymore.
I couldn't tell
And
what
they're
gonna
walking up. That's interesting.
I love this bit.
Like, you gotta clean up. He's like, no, I gotta go. My wife's making dinner.
Well, tough shit.
That guy is still. Oh wait, he's chewing. That's what he's doing. Or
Yeah,
is he
it's
eating
the
a fucking candy bar?
Same chocolate bar.
Dig him out.
He's like Augustus Gloop.
Augustus Gloop. Augustus Gloop.
That was the best part of that remake. It was an an abomination.
Danny Elfman's music was the only good part.
That and yeah. Christopher Lee's always a win.
Yeah.
I have to be back at the truck store tomorrow.
Well, this is supposed to symbolize like the typical hero's journey. The hero will go down and be stuck or going down some cave, or like a perfect example is like when Luke goes down into the dark part of the forest in Empire Strikes Back and sees the dark version of himself, and he reemerges on the other side, and he's supposed to, be better for it. It's kind of the same thing here.
It's interesting how the hero's journey in A New Hope does come full circle, but it also comes full circle with the trilogy as a whole.
Well, that's what it should have been, and that's it.
Yeah.
But let's not get on fucking Star Wars.
No, not
Right, that was my fault. I brought it up, but
Oh no! I just thought that was a good point.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like how he found yet another use for his knife by making it a torch.
And I like this bit because part of this is Teasel's like a bit of it's a little bit of respect for Rambo. The other bit of it's like I didn't get to kill him.
Yep, he's like I was set with the revenge and I didn't get it, so now it's even worse.
Mm-hmm.
He's dead and he didn't even get the sweet taste of victory.
Everything, these kind of lines that this guy is saying is just for the trailer. An exposition.
You mean Trautman? He's there for exposition, yes.
Exposition and trailers.
But at least it's entertaining because I love how he's the smartest guy in the room.
Well,
because he's the only one who knows what they're dealing with and they won't fucking listen to him.
That's true. And I like that. But at the same time, I think it could have been less monologue-y.
To a point, yes, but at this point, I think with the edit, they probably had to, and he probably saved them in that sense. Because what were you going to do? Because Rambo doesn't really talk. You don't get anything out of him for the first 30. We don't know shit about him until Trautman shows up and starts telling us, outside of that he's an ex-Green Beret, he was in the Vietnam War, and he wanted something to eat. That's all we know about him.
Yeah, that's why I like that part.
His only scenes, if I'm honest, except for the I don't think he should have been through this part of it.
Well, Trautman's character, okay, now remember how I said this is also kind of very similar to a horror movie in some respects?
Right.
Trautman's either like that crazy guy running through town warning everybody about the killer, or he's also like the Dr. Loomis character in Halloween to a point.
Yeah, right here, that alone, without even saying anything, he's like, yeah, all right, he'll figure this out. He'll figure how to get out. He saw the entrance. Or not the entrance, the exit for him. And the officers have no idea because he wants him to escape.
I tore stitches.
And all it was just like two different shots, three. Him looking at the mine itself, having it pan up to the top, and then having him go like, yeah. Great acting with body language.
Yeah, true. yeah, that's kind of why I like this. I mean, the only talking is mostly from Teasel for the most part, and then the general.
How do you say that to Sly? Like, okay, you got to fall down of this thing and somehow land on your feet.
Yeah,
amazing.
Just trial and error, I guess.
And I do like the Christmas theme here.
Is Rambo a Christmas movie too now or something? No.
No, you saw little Christmas trees. Is this a Christmas movie? Is it?
I don't know. People call Die Hard one, which is doesn't make any sense, but all right.
I don't know. Tom, would you call this a Christmas movie?
No.
Oh, wait, no. I'm kidding. It was just.
But I understand the argument for Die Hard and Gremlins. This, no, just because this takes place close to Christmas and there's Christmas stuff around it. No, but
it was a joke. But
well, I argue that, and I know because I know people personally who are like, Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. Gremlins is not a Christmas movie. It's like they are in the respect that Christmas plays a big part in the plot. If it could have been, if Christmas wasn't a part of the plot and it took place at Christmas, then I could see the argument that it's not a Christmas movie. But even more so Gremlins, because Gremlins is like almost a comment on the consumerism of the 80s and how the consumerism is literally eating the consumer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
See, now with this,
Spielberg wrote it.
in another film, does he like?
Well, he didn't write it, but he kind of he gave it notes for the rewrite. But anyway, what'd you say, Rookie?
Oh yeah.
In another film, do they reveal that those rats that bit him in here that they gave him some kind of disease?
No, he got lucky. It was bats, I think, in the book.
Okay, because I'm like, hey, he's got bit by rats down here. He probably has some type of sickness, you'd think.
I don't think he got bit. He just like
he was like, ow, like as if he was in pain. Not, oh no, rat, eek. So.
Well, you would do that too. You'd be like,
No, they weren't of like shock. It seemed to be of pain. So, and he seems to be the kind of guy that wouldn't react that way because there's something on him. Only if they're biting in, and rats' bites are tough. So,
It could be like Indiana Jones with snakes. He doesn't like rats.
Rats. Why do they have to be rats?
So Rambo versus Shredder. Shredder would win, I guess. Or I mean, who am I thinking of? Who's there?
Rambo would win.
Wait, not Shredder. Yeah. Who the hell
is
the
that is the rat. No. Wait.
Wait, no. Who's the Turtles' master?
Splinter.
Splinter.
Splinter, not Shredder. Shredder is the ninja guy.
They both start with an S, so it's close. Yeah.
Now they're at the local Hooters.
I love that. Trautman's only hanging around because he knows Rambo's not dead. I think this is the part where Teasel's like, you don't think he's dead, do you?
He's like, well, I gave you his description.
Bitch, please. I taught that motherfucker everything he knows. He ain't dead.
He's like, I gave you his entire background, and you're like, yeah, I guess we killed him.
You hillbillies couldn't stop a fucking busload of nuns.
Yep. He's like, seems cocky about it. He's like, he's gonna get you.
Well, of course he is. He's like, you got to remember, he's the guy who trained him. He knows everything. He made him the machine.
I see proper. I'm glad that this guy's still in it because I like his scene at the end when Rambo's losing it.
I do too.
It was a really good scene when we get to it, but leading up to it, still, it's like Rambo. Like right now, he could technically just go away and go be with his life, and whatnot. Everybody thinks he's dead already, so whatever. Though I don't know how you'd really live in America with your identity being dead. You can't go anywhere. And
it's not like he knows this.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, they think he's dead.
But he doesn't know that.
But nobody's pursuing him either.
No, but that's where Teasel's like, that's why you're still here, isn't it? Because you think he's still alive.
It's like if they thought he was alive, they probably would have searched that area even better for an exit
they're
of something.
supposed to be digging and looking for him or whatever. But
they're also lazy assholes. It's like, nah, they really gonna look that hard? Some guy probably would have found it and went, I don't see anything. I want to go home.
Love how it's like another day and he's like spent several hours in this mine.
Well, that's supposed to be what it's. I'm assuming.
Yeah, one's like, all because he just wanted to get some food.
There was a reason why this movie was 3 hours long. Remember?
Yeah, no, I can see why. And when it's like,
Well, yeah.
I liked that when he was eating the pig from earlier. It was like he kind of almost felt like that was his element. Like, is city life even possible now? And am I nothing without war? Kind of.
Is this? Are you at the part where he's walking? He's climbing out of the cave.
Yeah,
the mine?
he's about to go on the road in a minute.
Yeah, he's mine, or where I'm at right now is
he's peeking out and noticing the trucks and people walking around.
I was going to give you a time. I have 109 and a half.
Yeah, it's almost done.
And evidently Paul Newman and I can't remember the other person. Steve McQueen were considered for the part of Rambo. I think Steve McQueen would have been a little too old, in my opinion.
Yep.
Don't look at me. Look at the road, you idiot.
Just jumps on the car. The dude's trying to light a cigarette while driving.
I love how there are some elements that remind me of, like, this reminds me of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, it's like, thinking about it too. It's like you just be driving your military truck, and then some dude just comes out there and jumps you. It's like, oh shit. Interesting. Ouch. Tubby took a fall.
Wait, I love how he's running towards the other end, and then he's running backwards. So that cop would have had to.
They went the wrong way. What?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they cut it weird. Everybody's all bruised in the office. It's kind of funny. What happened today, Jim? Well, we're being dicks to this one guy, and then he kind of beat the shit out of us, and now we got 200 guys looking for him, and now he's dead, and now he's back. So, typical day. Yeah, I'm glad that the movie was cut to an hour and a half. I don't think I'd be able to. I would not like it being 3 hours.
It's very self-contained, though.
Yeah, but how many lines of dialogue does Rambo even have in this film? Like, I don't even know if he has full 10. Other than, like, maybe when he's telling the story at the end.
I'd say most at the end, probably, yeah. But other than that, I think he has a whole of maybe 5-6 lines.
Yeah, that's a minute.
Probably why I like Sly's acting. The less he says, the better.
He does talk to Trautman on the walkie-talkie for a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, total minutes of dialogue. Like, I don't know if it equals 6 minutes out of this whole thing. Like, that's impressive. Which to me says that you can have a silent protagonist. Talking about Link movie if they wanted to make one.
I've seen that kind of shot before.
Yeah.
That again, yeah.
Well, it's like this cop car is trying to go and stop a big military truck. Like, are you stupid? I'll stop him. Just watch. And he flips over.
Yeah, those guys are dead. Probably. Somebody's dead.
Yep. Boom.
See, he kills somebody.
No, I'd say they get real injured because now the other car exploded. Theirs didn't, and it spun out. So probably super duper injured.
Let's just okay. Oh shit.
Yep.
And this reminds me of E.T. for some reason.
I get that.
Imagine if the truck started to fly.
I could really use an alien right about now.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be in the re-edit. Yeah. In the re-release. In the re-release.
And now it's nighttime all of a sudden.
It looks a little darker.
It's
Oh, now
way
it's nighttime.
darker.
Okay, now it's
Well, as
darker.
I said, you got to remember he kept getting farther and farther up into the mountains.
These gas
so-
tanks don't explode in this movie, like Grand Theft Auto. GTA is a lie. Oh fuck Shell! They're always so expensive.
See, I don't understand why he was trying to blow up everything. Like, why specifically his tactic was to blow up everything in this town.
It's more of a symbol that he's blowing up the typical like establishment situation.
Yeah, but it's at the cost of a.
Pretty much blows up the whole fucking town.
That's what I was saying.
That
It seems
poor,
like
the
there's
poor person's, all that's his livelihood is that gas station. And he
Yeah,
probably
so-
killed the guy in it.
But that's what I'm saying, though. I mean, he got, shit he tried to protect these people. He comes home and they hate him and can't even do nothing. He just got out of war where he is tortured and, nobody likes him. So for him, these people are partly, evil in his own
There's an
perspective
enemy.
because
Yeah.
they come back and it's just nothing. Can't get anything.
Actually, the blowing stuff up is so he can get all the cops out of the cop shop, except
Mhm.
for Teasel.
Mm.
I love how you called it the cop shop.
That's what we
Yep.
call it here. I don't know.
Cop shop. Heading on down to get some coffee today? No, but I'll drop down by the cop shop and, get some bacon or something.
That was clever, rookie.
Yeah.
I just got
Jane.
out the cop shop because I got out.
Got some bacon. Bacon and coffee.
I got too drunk last night, got into a fight. I don't know. I can't rap.
Bacon, coffee, and
I don't have a
donuts.
beat.
You don't got a beat because you wait from the street. Get on rookie's level. You know what I'm saying? Pick up a shovel and I don't know what I have a shovel.
Ride the shovel.
You were all disheveled.
Disheveled love. Ride the shovel.
Yeah, right.
We're the three Muska Rapsters.
Three white boys who can't rap.
Yep. We can't rap, but we can rhyme. We can do it all the time. Yeah, I'm gonna throw
That
you a
fucking
dime.
cannon he's got.
Yep. And the cop is. I do give him a little bit of credit by trying to go, on the roof, so there's at least he can get a better line of sight from everything and everybody, and doesn't just get killed immediately. Inside.
He doesn't
ambush.
die anyway. He still lives.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Well, I have seen this. Yeah. Commentary.
No, I know. I was kidding.
Yeah. I like how he's like still like, I don't give a shit. I want him to try. We're all gonna die someday. And I think he still wants that satisfaction of killing him.
Well, yeah, because that guy that got killed was his buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, his friend.
If I
That's-
remember
that's
right in the
the
book,
only-
I don't think they. I think they do say it here that he was in the war with him. Yeah.
I thought that there was they were like childhood friends or something.
That too, but I think they were in the war together too. Was the other thing.
So Teasel and the other guy were in the previous war?
Korean War, I think, together.
Mhm.
Yeah. If it's not in the movie, I think it's in the book.
Oh, okay, that makes a little more sense what you're saying earlier. Yeah, so yeah, like you said, white picket fence, and they're all it's normal life, and then the modern one was just like completely treated opposite, and not as heroes really, or nothing, just complete rejection.
That's kind of sad.
Like how
I
he still has
can't
the scars though.
I seriously can't believe that Vietnam vets were treated that way.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, no, I
they
can
didn't do anything.
I can believe it because like even today, there's modern day people that disrespect.
Yeah, you
True.
got to imagine it was like the equivalent of the idiot SJWs back then who didn't think shit through before they attacked people.
But at least hippies like good music. And they
Well,
can be
yeah,
fun
but
sometimes.
You know,
Yeah, it doesn't really make it a positive trait though.
but you got to remember a lot of those people. If you were seen as part of the establishment. You worked for the man. You went and killed babies. It was a pretty. I mean, you could kind of see where the whole SJWism of that time kind of came into play. There.
Oh, I know.
They weren't stopping to think about what was really going on. So yeah,
Right, or how an individual could deal with being in that situation at all. Nobody would know.
Well, not only that, a lot of these kids, well, some of them were drafted, so they didn't have a fucking choice. I mean, most of them were. So that's the other side of it. It's not like, and even the ones that weren't drafted, most of them were like lied to and wooed into this, just like they do now still.
Well, it's like, even now, I mean
I'm not trying to talk all anti-military or anything like that. I'm just saying, they make it look very glamorous, and
they're supposed to make it seem like, it's an honorable thing, and it's something you should strive for to do and show top manliness. And it's kind of a way to convince, because otherwise, what if they tried to sell it like it's hell? You'd never want to come.
Well, the other thing was, is the Vietnam War was the first war to ever take place on live television.
Okay, that makes sense.
So American families actually, for the first time, got a glimpse of true war. It didn't go through a filter first.
Right. That's sort of like today we get everything at our fingertips that happens at any time.
Yeah, and I mean, war is so much. I mean, even how they, it's so different now compared to then too. Yeah. Everything is way different. You've got not just the equipment you use, but just how it's approached and. Everything like that. The odds of you losing a man now in certain operations are very slim compared to chances where you had a 6-7 man operation back then. Chances are 2 ain't coming back. To where like nowadays it's very. If you lose that's why they usually make a big deal when we do have something happen, because it's not standard practice anymore for most soldiers to
be in the front battle combat.
Well, not just that, but to actually die in combat, because there's a lot more safety things now with like the equipment they have. I got somebody at my door. I'm gonna have to. I'll be right
okay,
back.
That's fine. That's cute. Yeah, makes sense. With this part when he was at the gun store, I was like, all the wasted ammo. No. How can they survive the zombie apocalypse now? Like, what if the zombie apocalypse happened right after this? That town is fucked. You still there, Proper?
Yeah, I'm still here.
That's good. Yeah, this part goes on for like a good 10 minutes, just blowing up the town. I am curious to see how they would have done with the extended time, though. Now
I'm back.
Yeah, I really would have been curious to see like how much more they would have included.
Yeah, I was just commenting how like this whole blowing up the town sequence is taking like 10 minutes, and it's like, if there was a version where there's more stuff happening, I'm imagining how long the sequence would have taken in the uncut version.
Well, a lot of this probably I mean, this is probably the most expensive sequence in the entire movie. So a lot of this is probably, you see what we got.
Yeah.
All the budget was from these shots.
Yeah, most likely.
I was just gonna say, this one didn't have the big budget the other movies did. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I was commenting on. And that seems like a pretty low budget, because it's just you're in pretty much police set, and then you're in the forest, and then.
And most of these buildings, most of the buildings that are getting blown up are built for the movie, as far as I know, too.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, dude, it's like, God damn, I'm screwed. I don't know. Everybody always references Rambo as if he's like just this dude who can't miss a shot and is invincible. And I just like how here he doesn't seem like that. He just seems like he's very intense. Crazy. He like not crazy in a bad way, but like crazy and just like fuck all these people. He seems like he's trying to go to war with citizens in a way. It's just like, dude, I want to kill everybody. I'm not going to kill everybody, but this cop though, yeah, I might kill him.
Well, that's kind of the way it is in the book. Is this guy just fucking snaps? And that's where I said the book is like, you could almost have, if Sly wouldn't have come in and made it the anti-hero movie, this could have been like the next horror franchise.
Yeah, it's a book.
Yeah, First Blood started as a book, yes. And in that, like I said, in the book, it's like every other chapter is one's from Rambo's point of view, the other one's from Teasel's point of view, and Teasel's almost more of the hero in the book, almost. And it's kind of just like to the point, because like I said, Rambo just fucking snaps and kills everybody. Like it's basically like a horror movie. And that's where I was saying, you know, Trautman comes in and he's like that crazy guy to warn everybody. And he's also like the Dr. Loomis type character. And he's also the guy that kills Rambo at the end. And yeah, it's just
right. Rambo's the monster.
Yeah, basically.
I gotcha. I can see how it could be framed that way.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, where Sylvester Stallone really changed the character quite a bit. For the better, I think, too. Because I think demonizing Rambo would have really kind of been counterproductive to what David Morrell was trying to say with the book.
Probably when they, you know, released it, too. Yeah.
Well, I mean, at the end, Rambo realizes he's broken. And that's why he begs, you know, Trautman to kill him and stuff like that. But I mean, that's the whole thing, is like, this version I think says a lot more, is like, you know, without having to make Rambo the bad guy, it still punches the point home more. So like right here in this scene, this is the scene right here.
Yeah. Well, it's like he just feels like, what else can he even do? Like, yeah, you said you lost his whole platoon.
It's over, Johnny.
Like, what family does he have? Like, what is his point of, you know, keeping, like, what can he even do? What's he going to do?
It's over, Johnny.
Nothing's
over.
Join the X-Men.
I could have been Wolverine. I could have been an X-Men. No, Johnny, you couldn't have been. You can't.
Or hell, he could have been. Or he could have been the Punisher or something. You know. In a way.
This is actually, if you want to get serious about it, this is probably closer to a Punisher than some of the other shit we got. But as far as the character himself.
Yeah, seems like it.
Are we at the monologue now?
I'm just about, and he's like, look at all them out there, you know.
Yeah, that's the part I'm at. Yeah, he's like, look at him.
He's
look what you did.
You did.
Well, it's like Rambo still seems like, I don't care how many is out there. I want to kill as many as I can and then die.
You can't just turn it off.
I do like his story that he tells too. He's like, yeah, you know, he just wanted to go home and drive his car, and you know, we're all hanging out, and then some kid wants us to, you know, give him something, and then it's a pouch, and then boom, I got his legs in my hand. You know, hey, I want to drive. Oh, we can't. Your legs are gone. It's like kind of funny, but it's not funny at all. Type of situation.
It's a good ass movie.
Well, and I gotta admit too, it does, you know, kind of remind, you know, that all of us, you know, in America, basically, that haven't gone overseas or done anything else out of our own lives, or what we see on TV, here on social media, whatever, we think we know a lot, but it's like experiencing something is completely different than learning about it.
I mean, for the audience was ready for this movie at the time, but the critics weren't. And
I keep on hearing that they did not like the movie. But it's
the critics just didn't get it at the time, but I think in retrospect, a lot have changed their minds. And honestly, what's sad is now is I think this trio, the trio between Sly and Richard Crenna and Brian Dennehy, they should have been nominated for this. I mean, this is some pretty, I mean, especially Sly. Of all of the stuff he's done, this is still his best work, in my opinion.
That's what I said earlier. This is my favorite performance of his. This is his best performance. The little he talks in this movie, the less he talks, the better.
I don't even have the fucking volume up, and he's still giving me goosebumps. That's
same here.
Same here.
And it's like, right, I'm not a huge fan of Stallone in general. If you're to say, hey, what's your Stallone movies? I don't have them. I don't care. But this is the best I've seen. And yeah, him not talking the whole movie makes this even better. Like, he's not even talking to him. He's just talking and saying it.
Well, it's because it's all coming out. It's like this.
Yeah.
It's the explosion of the movie. The biggest explosion of the movie, actually.
And he's talking about his friend just all over him. You can almost picture it.
Describes it very much. He's like, hey, we can't go driving, dude. You don't have your legs anymore.
And here's Richard Crenna realizing that he broke this kid.
Yeah, I do like the moment here. And he's like, he knows he's the only one that can understand any of this.
Well, it's his fault. I mean, retroactively through the government, but, you know, he's the one who, you know.
Yeah, he personally was there and trained. and did it. Put him in the situations. But it's like I like seeing that because a lot of times people seem to, whenever people think of Rambo or these strong male characters, they always seem to always go, oh, they're just gun-toting badasses, and it's like, no, this type of scene is like, no, that's not all that they are. They have a heart too. They have traumatic events in their lives.
And this is him
Trautman
just,
was on the verge of tears there.
and he's just
He is
reaching
crying
out.
basically. He's just in his, he hugs him right here too. He's just like,
Well,
I don't know. Like,
And I think this is the part right here. Instead of them killing Rambo, him just reaching out for the hug from the only fatherly figure, obviously, in his life. I mean, we don't know anything about him, but you know what I mean? To where it's like,
yeah. I love this moment. It's like just good. And then he walks out, and it's like, hard to say what would happen to Rambo after all this, but something. I mean, I'm imagining. I'm glad I've not seen the second one yet. I'm hoping it's not like, you know how much damage you caused in that town. You owe $45 million or something. So you have to get a job and you have to pay it off. Or some shit.
no, that all happened off screen, and when the movie starts out, he's in prison.
Okay, that kind of makes sense, I guess.
So, like, I mean, yeah, he's probably been there for a couple of years or a year or two or whatever it is, but I'm sure, like, he got sentenced to a good 10, 15 years in prison or better.
Right.
And the freeze frame, typical 80s.
Yeah. See, I wasn't sure too, like how they ended it right here. I'm like, are they gonna Karate Kid this? Like, pick it up right where it left off, and then we get to see more about the master or some shit.
It kind of does, but doesn't. It's like, well, what are you gonna see there? It's like you sit there through the trials, sit through all the bullshit, da 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 da. No, it just picks up. He's been in prison for a while. He's doing his thing, and Trautman comes up. He's like, Johnny, you want to go win the war?
Was there another war that he has to fight or something?
Well, no, actually, not to give too much away, the basic plot is there's POWs, but Rambo's supposed to go just get proof that they're there, just get pictures.
Oh, but he's not the type to just.
But he's not the type to just go take pictures. No.
Right.
And actually, I think Proper's giving the second film a bit of a short shaft. I mean, it was.
Well, to be fair, I do think POWs more like POSs. Just this is a piece of shit film to me. But to be fair, it's interesting how I thought. I'm giving a bad example, but I'm sure in a different lens that The Never-Ending Story is a great movie to some people. I think it's garbage, all of it. But
I'm still pursuing my case against them, and I haven't been able to get seen in court yet, but I'm hoping.
Wait, against The Never-Ending Story?
Yeah, some bitch ended. They lied to me. I should still be watching that movie right now, but I'm not.
Oh. No, I just hate it I'm going to make a video on it eventually, but
I like it to a point, but that's just because of the probably nostalgic deal, because I hadn't seen it in a long time, and then I watched it a while back, and it's like, yeah, this doesn't hold up much better than
but I do find it interesting how the Rambo movies are categorized, and kind of like how the Friday the 13th films are. Oh, Jason, it's the guy with the mask. Well, the first two movies didn't have the first movie didn't have Jason really in the movie, and you didn't have the hockey mask until the third one. So the public perception of who Jason is and what it is didn't come until later films. Kind of like with this.
Yeah, and more so 3. I mean, 2 has some of those moments creeping in, but I don't know how long it's been since you've watched 2, but
it's been a very long time, and I couldn't watch it. Like I was just like, this is the most boring.
How old were you at the time?
I was probably like 13.
That's surprising. But were you really into like action movies though at all? Like that much?
No, that's probably why. I never have liked action movies. I prefer a story with my special effects. That's
See, now you might actually see more of the subtext than you did at that young of an age, but I can understand where you're coming from, because that one's a very bam bam. You think this one's a fast moving movie? The second one's much faster. I think the second one's only like 80 some minutes long, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, this one's actually really slow. like starting out. It
In
isn't until
comparison.
like really like a half hour in, you know, you really get some really juicy stuff here. And
But I think there's a lot of symbolism you might have missed out on in the second film, and James Cameron actually wrote the treatment for it.
well, you remember the watch party I was a part of with Karate Kid Part 2? You remember when I said, "Oh, I didn't like this
Yeah.
movie when I first saw it," but then rewatching it again, I was like, "Oh, I think I really like it."
Yeah, I think that's a movie. Another one that's a good example where people overlook it after the first watch, and especially when they're kids, because it doesn't have some of the things that pulled you in as a kid for the first film. As a
Yeah,
comparison,
it's
where
not
as an adult,
yeah.
as an adult, you see it through different eyes. You know, it's kind of like like the Die Hard films. I've never been a huge fan of the second one, but as an adult, I like the second film less, and I like the third film even more, for the reason that the second film is just basically the same thing as the first movie, to where they even say it. Sure, the second movie is a great movie and it has good parts, but the third film eclipses it, in my opinion. I love the third Die Hard movie because it's different. It's the same character, same universe, but it's a different look at the character, and that's kind of where First Blood Part 2 comes in. Is it's a much different look at the character. We get to see him in action. We get to see him being heroic. We get to see him in his element and kind of see him fall in love a little bit. There's a bit of a little love story there. It's not much, but it's like, it's there. It's a fast-paced 80s action film, don't get me wrong, but I think you'll enjoy it, Rookie, more so than what Proper is posting.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
we'll
this is just personal experience, but
Yeah, we'll see. So far, I've liked most of the movies that I've watched for the classic ones. Just Alien 1 was pretty much the main one that no, Karate Kid 4 was probably the worst.
You didn't get through that, did we?
No, we didn't really even talk about it. We stopped. I think there's still like 30 minutes left.
Well, you said you stopped watching it, and then I watched it as we were talking, but we started.
Yeah, and then we ended up talking about the film industry and stuff, pretty much.
you stopped watching Part 4?
Yeah, he couldn't get through it, and I understand.
It's been many years since I've watched that.
I didn't care if she was gonna fight the guys. It was just like, yeah, and that's what probably is gonna happen, right? And then it was, and I was like, yeah, I don't really need to see that unfold. I just didn't care enough to.
Yeah, I think I told him the only thing I was sad is he didn't get as far as the monastery part, but other than that.
Oh, I don't even remember where the monastery part was, but
he takes Julie for the last last part of the movie, but it's like the mid part of the movie. And then the monks make the trip to town to visit them, so it's kind of a.
You know what's funny about that movie? Like, do you think that people would have like people who didn't like it? Do you think critics, if that was released, not how it is per se, because it's obviously
it has a girl in it, you think critics would be more receptive to it now? Oh fuck
yes.
It would
yes, and they would be blaming fans for not liking it.
Yep, it'd be our fault for not liking it because. And the thing is it wouldn't even be her fault. She's not a bad character.
No.
It was just a bad writing.
It was a really bad story.
Tom and I were talking about it, and we're like, it would have been interesting if she was like the bully of some kid or something, and then, kind of did the reverse from, as if taking like the Johnny character and molding him into the Daniel son.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. They missed the opportunity of doing Cobra Kai before Cobra Kai.
And you could have, and it being from a girl, I mean, you can have the girl aspects of it or something, a girl type of bully.
Well,
she makes fun of someone's makeup or something in the girl's bathroom and beats the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She can
be the main character, but it's not.
She can psychologically screw up, psychologically bully like a couple girls, and then like beat the crap out of a dude or something. It's just like, oh shoot, and then it's like teacher tries to get her in trouble or something, and then she. I don't know. There could be some type of things where it's like, no, that's not going to work. And
we're not going to send you
only
to
one
Miyagi.
One person that can somehow stop this, and that's Miyagi. Exactly. Who can turn this shit around. That'd be interesting.
It's one of those things I do. It's like one fix. Generally, I can fix most movies that are bad with one fix. And then the biggest problem with the next Karate Kid is the bad guys. The bullies. They suck. They're horrible fucking characters. So what do? You get rid of them and you make her the bully. And it makes it more interesting because she's the aggressor. So then you don't have to worry about a bad guy throughout the movie. Yeah, you're not going to have a final fight. It's going to be a much different Karate Kid movie. But this movie is going to be about finding peace and center yourself, not the...
It would still be interesting if like Daniel comes by to, visit Miyagi or something and then has to, meet her and see how that interaction would go. And
I bet you he'd have been more on board with doing a cameo if you would have presented him the script I just talked about. If you would have had a scene in there where he would have come in and said, I was a hothead too until Miyagi taught me.
Yeah, and it's like have her go, I can kick your butt too, and then he just like does an easy move. It's like, nah, why are you trying to fight? Come on. And then
beats the shit. And then
he goes into his car that's breaking down again, because that seemed to be a small trope, I guess, with the Karate Kid. His car never works or something.
Jeez, the damn car never works.
I liked the reasons why he can't have the same girl in each of the movies. It's like, she just went off with some other jock or something.
Oh, that was very
she's going to dancing school. And it's like, so you just just reasons why the actresses aren't in this now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of funny.
Well, I think Elizabeth Shue was working on Back to the Future or something.
She wasn't in the first one. She would have been doing.
No.
She was probably doing Adventures in Babysitting at that time.
Part 3 was in '89.
Yeah, part 2 was in '89. Part 3 was in 1990.
Part 3 was 1990. Oh.
Yeah, they were 6 months apart.
Wait, but no, you're talking about Back to the Future, not Karate Kid. I was talking about Karate Kid.
Well, Elizabeth Shue, though, was not available for Karate Kid 2 because she was busy filming. And the only movie I think of that she was filming at that point would have been Adventures in Babysitting. And since she was a star, she probably was just that busy. That came out in '85, but they started filming.
That was '86.
'86 is when Karate Kid 2 came out, but they started filming Karate Kid 2 like 6 months to the day that Karate Kid came out in theaters in '84.
Right. Okay.
It was one of the but since they filmed it, I
wasn't mistaking Elizabeth Shue for being in part 1.
No. Yeah. Back to the Future came out in '85, but I figured because most people do forget that. It's just
I don't forget that. I'm a big you're talking to a big Back to the Future fan. I'm not going to mistake this, but I'm just okay. So the Adventures of Babysitting is the reason why it sounds silly.
I think so. Well, because she was the star of that, and that would have been probably filming around the same time they started filming. Then she's not that important to the story. You don't really fucking need her. So, I mean, you probably wouldn't have paid to have her come out just for a little cameo or something.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the most relevant thing about that movie with the rest of like Cobra Kai is probably that opening. The opening, that's the most relevant part. You don't need to see, all you need to see is like maybe Karate Kid and like the 10 minutes of that part 2, and then that's it.
Yeah, maybe. Well, that's not true because we're getting. Have you seen season 2?
No, neither have you. But you've heard the rumors. He's going back
season
to
3. That's season 3.
Yeah.
I'm talking about season 2. Season 2 ties a lot into part 3, and I was thinking.
That too.
More into part 3 in the next one.
I was talking more like part 1, but season 1 of Cobra Kai.
Gotcha,
you only need to, But anyway, we're getting off topic about. We're talking about Karate Kid now.
That's good. Yeah, I'll start watching Cobra Kai once I'm done with Game of Thrones.
You need to watch Cobra Kai.
I'm halfway done through season 4 of Game of Thrones, so I'm getting there.
Ooh, all right, so you already seen Theon become Reek. Lovely.
Just the beginning of it. Just the beginning of that. Renamed him Reek, but he's not free or nothing yet. He's still under the control of Bolton or whatever.
Ramsey.
Ultron's in that shit? No, I don't know.
I don't know. Didn't they say he's House Bolton or something?
Bolton.
I don't know. I'm just making fun. I'm one of the few nerds in the world. I'm one of the few nerds in the world who has never watched that stuff. So.
Oh, see, you dodged a bullet. You would have wasted 10 years of your life watching that show.
Everybody says that, but I'm actually enjoying the journey watching it after knowing that everybody hates it after season 8. And some people don't like it after. Some people think at the end of season 4 is the last.
I was going to say most people, from what I've heard, say the cracks really start to show in season 5. Yeah,
but that's why I kind of want to see this. I want to see how it came from the most recommended, beloved show universally by almost everyone to this show is the worst thing in existence ever imagined before conceptualized from Demon Babies of Hell or something. And it's like,
it fell apart season 6. That's when I stopped.
Well, it's because isn't that when they ran out of stuff to use? And that's kind of what happened was they rushed, and then they got to a point where they're like they wanted to keep going with it, and they didn't have enough stuff to use anymore.
It sounds like they had something new going on, but then once you get to the fifth season. It's not new anymore. Now you're kind of in the, okay, now we have to keep this image. And it's like, how do we keep the image? We got to do something crazy. And so the longer it goes, the more you have chances to ruin it, which is kind of my theory on a lot of franchises.
Not only that, I heard they like forget a lot of storylines and shit by the time they get to the end and stuff like that.
Yeah, which is like, kind of why.
What were you saying there? You were saying something like, the longer a franchise goes.
Yeah, I'm saying like the longer a franchise goes, the better chance it has to screw itself up. Like, sometimes I think it's good. Sometimes I think it's good if series ends. Sometimes, like Harry Potter shouldn't have more movies. And
Fantastic Beasts. Well, to be fair, it was like to me it was over when the Deathly Hallows Part 2 came out, and even then I thought it was a bit of a stretch. But
yeah, it felt like, can the story end?
I'm just like, this is a waste of my damn time.
Thank you. I put Fantastic Beasts toward the level of, it's not the same type of level, but kind of around the area of Last Jedi as far as how bad it is. Just like, I will criticize that movie big time one of these days. It is horrible.
I'm a pretty firm believer, unless you're doing a sitcom, that you should have a clear end game, like at least 3 to 5 seasons in, like to know where you're headed. But you can leave enough windows and doors open for other seasons if it's good. But like, look at shows like a great example that went on way too fucking long, Smallville. I don't know if either of you guys have watched that.
No, and I was going to start, but I didn't feel like it.
The show is set up basically for 5 seasons. And so by the time they got to the 5th season, they kept getting renewed and renewed and renewed and renewed. It kept playing out this thing where it's like, oh, he's Superman, but we're going to pull it back now. Oh, he's Superman, but we're going to pull it back now. You kept doing this thing because it was like the whole point of the show was to not get to see him Superman. So it gets to a point where he's basically got all the powers and everything just like Superman. He's even living in Metropolis more than he is in Smallville. So it's like they should have just changed the show to Metropolis and just had a Superman show at that point. You could say, well, we technically didn't turn him into Superman on Smallville. He
should have turned into Superman. What the end's supposed to be like? I haven't seen the whole way through. So
it sounds like they're having
like his dad dies in like season 3 or something like that, and it's pretty well set up to where you can tell by the time they get to that point where it's like, okay, this is where they're.
Marlon Brando doesn't die until season 3. What?
No,
I'm kidding.
Jonathan Kent.
You see, it also sounds. Keep that in mind. The current Arrow show and the Flash, all that stuff, is going to have like Smallville in it, like the Superman in it.
That's actually very interesting.
Yeah.
I dropped out, but I'd like to see some of those.
I don't know. See, with that's another example of like, I like their whole setup, but they should have stopped certain shows when they added more shows. Like, because it started out with Arrow, and then the Flash, and then DC's Legends of Tomorrow, and then Supergirl, and then Black Bolt and something or whatever. And there's all these spinoffs, and so many of the episodes and characters intertwine in each other's show. So if you want to be caught up on what the hell's happening now, you have to go watch another one or an episode from a different one to be totally in the right continuity of time. And it's like Arrow should have probably ended after season 5 because he's gone for 5 years on the island. I think that would have been a good ending to his story. And then you could still continue the Flash and stuff and have the Arrow make cameos in it if he needs to. And then end the Flash after like season 4 or something, or season 5, whatever. And when you're adding some shows or you have other shows going for over 5 seasons, maybe end a few shows too, so you don't have to literally pay attention.
I think they ran into a Smallville
50 seasons of his stuff, and you can't remember anything. Like Slade, that stuff was cool back in early Arrow, and then it's like things were kind of getting weird, and then they had Damien Dark, which was kind of cool but kind of ridiculous. And, okay, it's kind of getting.
I think you made a point, and I think if I remember, if somebody knows out there, please tell me. I'm pretty sure, I swear, I remember seeing a thing with an interview with like one of the makers of Arrow way early on, and I think the show had been planned for 5 seasons. Because that was the whole thing, like you said, he was on the island for 5 years, and every year they would go to the next year. He was on the island for that long. You know what I mean? It would.
Yeah, they every year, every season they do flashbacks throughout the whole season, showing leading up to where they are now, basically in some way, with whatever villain they're fighting. It links back to something back then.
Yeah, Will makes a point that I can't really talk too much about because I'm not as familiar with Smallville. he said Smallville did okay because they had so many characters they could pull into it, but it could have been cut down to 7 great seasons rather than 10 okay ones. And that's the problem. That's the problem that I had with shows like The Big Bang Theory. Went up for 12 seasons, and I watched nearly every single episode. It got to a point where the show, it's a half-hour show, but I saw it online because I didn't have cable. One of the episodes, I swear, was 17 minutes. 17 minutes. That's almost as much commercials as there is show. That is a problem. That's where I got to a point where I'm just like, I'm done with this crap. This is where they focus too much on the money that they're making more than the actual
story, and character, and arcs.
Yes.
I think they got in trouble for that, actually, now that you mention that.
Did the Big Bang Theory actually get in trouble for that?
Or CBS did, I think, for pulling that shit, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember there was something, or they at least got called out for it, but people were getting pissed about it. But
just
that's the first time I heard that.
More commercials than there were like show. I thought I saw one episode being less than 15 minutes long. I'm like, are you?
No, you're right. I think even on the DVD, I was like, God, how many episodes are on a disc? That's like the one show where there's like so many episodes that can fit on a disc, and it's like, why?
Oh, they probably only had like 2 discs for like season 5 and 6.
Yeah, usually there's like 5 discs. Usually there's like 5 discs,
10,
like 3
11.
episodes each. 2 or 3 episodes per disc is usually the standard, TV show episode things, and these had pretty much most of them on a disc or 2. Yeah, and Big Bang Theory. I loved that show for a while, and it's like I don't even know how many seasons they ended up with, but I don't really care to see what happens because I feel like you kind of had a good shtick for a while, and you could have probably ended it pretty good on good notes. And then
at season 8, they got renewed for 3 seasons at one point. For 3 more seasons. Like, here you go, 3 more seasons, 3 more years of the Big Bang Theory. Do whatever.
I liked it until it became Friends, too.
Yeah, well,
but
and they made the Sheldon show, the little young Sheldon. Like,
I watched one fucking episode. I don't even think I finished it. I at least started watching it, but I know I've watched only one episode. I was done with that.
Are they too dumb to realize that Jim Parsons is the reason why people like the Sheldon character?
Well, the kid isn't wrong with it. What's wrong is if you go too many seasons with too much character development, you'll go to the Big Bang Theory and be like, that's not the kid that we thought was going to be developed into. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
That's not even the point. It's just there's no point to fill any of these stories out from a kid perspective when you already have the long show of the Big Bang Theory with Sheldon in it. I mean, there's just no point to go back and tell anything from back then. There's no reason,
right? Like
at all. Like let's just do that with every character. Let's have young Xena. Let's have young Jon Snow. I don't know. There's just no
young Rambo.
Young Rambo. There's no point to it. It's stupid. It has nothing to do with anything. The main shows can reference old stuff. That's fine, sure. But unless you do like a show that's supposed to be in that same universe that's back in time and that character is a kid, but they're not the main character. They just exist in it. I mean, okay, fine. I mean, maybe they can have a few things, but if they're not the focus. Like again, like if you had a young Jon Snow in an old movie, it'd be Ned Stark's movie or something, or TV show. The other ones in it. But anyway, I think that's pretty good. That wraps up our Rambo talk.
Yeah, I got to do some things like eat some food at some point today.
We always do this, Tom. At the end of the movies, we end up talking about other stuff.
All right, I'd like to keep talking, but I'm like, I got another show coming up here on my channel.
I got to go to work in an hour, so
I've been working all day and I haven't ate much today. Right. So yeah, I'm kind of.
I could send it in a couple hours.
Oh yeah. Good point.
It was a good time.
Everybody
wants the little avatar that you have.
Yeah, thanks. I had my artist do another little quick one before she's unavailable for about a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be an energy ball, not a flashlight, if you couldn't tell it.
Looks nothing like you. You don't have a chess piece on your foot.
I was going to be nice and saying she made you look kind of svelte. That was a nice way of saying it. But no, you just went right for it. It looks nothing like you.
No, he doesn't have a chest piece shirt at all.
It's supposed to be.
That's not realistic.
Yeah,
I know.
Well,
I'm just picking on you both.
it used to be
he
a
can't,
blazer
he
shirt,
can't,
but now
he can't have energy.
I'm just
from
picking on
his
you.
light.
I have more than one shirt. Proper. I have more than one shirt.
Where is the chest piece shirt?
I haven't made one yet. Maybe I will.
Exactly.
Maybe I should make one, huh? For Teesprings. Who knows?
Yeah, you should just make that one chest piece.
Just
Whatever
the
that. What is it? The rook or something?
Yeah, it's just the
Is
rook.
that, is that what it's supposed to be?
That's what the piece is. Yeah, that's why there's that.
It
chest
should
piece.
be. It should. You need a shirt like that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I could do something like that. See, I thought it'd be kind of cool if I could if I can have like a chest piece, like the rook piece, but like a gauntlet or something, like a weapon.
Rook piece gauntlet.
Or no, it wouldn't be called that, but that's what it would be. Like,
Oh,
that'd be a cool prop. That'd be a cool prop to have a rook chest piece as like a gauntlet or like a cyborg, beam shooter or something.
Or you carry the little toy in your pocket.
Yeah, little toy. Exactly.
I wonder how many chess sets have been ruined giving you a rook piece.
None so far. But
it's too bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna just call it right here. It's about the 2-hour mark. I'm hoping that the beginning of this doesn't get all cut out because last time it cut out like the first 10 minutes.
Weird.
When I sent